Hi, this is Liliana. So we're going to be talking about the VTK serial killer case. I'm going to get it out of the way and say a warning. It's going to be graphic content and parts of it that are going to be disturbing. And if it's not your thing, that's totally okay. But you should just get off of the video now. But I'm going to be doing a modern traditional gothic look and talking about the story as I do it. So I'll be listing the products that I'm using down below, so if you're interested, just go down there and take a peek at that. It's a totally messed up story. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'll say mine at the end, but it's horrific. So pin the hair back because we are about to put on my white base foundation. I'm just gonna leave it. Everything that I found is just so sad, and I feel so bad for the victims and the serial killer's family. I feel bad for them as well because they had no idea of the monster that they were living with. I couldn't even fathom having to deal with that, and I know his daughter has come out with a book and telling her story, and I would suggest to go read that. I know that I'm going to be searching into that because I want to hear her perspective and what she's been through. I feel so bad for them. Genuinely. I couldn't imagine being in that position. So, to get into it, Dennis Lynn Rader was born in Pittsburgh, Kansas on March 9th, 1945, the oldest of 4 sons. So his parents were Dorothea May Rader. She was a bookkeeper. I'll put a little picture of her right here. His dad, William Elvin Rader, was a former United States Marine and a Kansas gas service worker. Rader's parents were members of the Zion Lutheran Church in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Later, he was baptized there as well. But Rader's father was described as strict and God-fearing, but not abusive. But both of his parents worked long hours, and Rader claimed that he was neglected. So what people have said in the community about his parents, that doesn't seem to be true, but obviously I wasn't there, but from what I found, it doesn't seem to be true. He seemed like a, strict but firm father. He was just busy, and so was his mom. They were taking care of a lot of kids, so. So Rader had an interest in novels, comic books, fishing, and Cub Scouting. From a young age, however, he harbored a sadistic sexual fantasy about torturing trapped and helpless women. Interesting. So, there were signs. Rader exhibited some other signs as well by torturing, hanging, killing animals. That's crazy. I mean, it's just horrible. I couldn't imagine. But he acted out some sexual fetishes by cross-dressing and often spying on female neighbors dressed in women's clothing that he stole. There's also some notes about him masturbating with rope tied around his neck. So he had a couple different odd interests like that. After high school, he went to university and got some mediocre grades, dropped out after 1 year. But that kind of sums up his childhood. His parents really weren't bad, they just weren't present because they were trying to provide for a lot of kids. He claims that they were neglectful, but I don't know. For his adult life, he was a decorated Air Force agent upon his discharge in 1970. Rader started working for a Coleman company in 1972, and 2 years later he found work installing alarm systems with ADT home security. So, after marrying his wife Paula in 1971, they welcomed children Brian and Carrie in 1975 and 1978. But in December 1973, things changed. So he started stalking Julie, someone that he used to work with. I feel so bad for her. So on the morning of January 15th, 1974, Rader killed Julie and her husband Joseph and their 2 children, Joey and Josephine. All 4 were bound with ropes. Rader suffocated Joseph, his son, with plastic bags, strangled Julie. Jesus. Rader took the 11-year-old Josephine down to the basement, told her she would be in heaven tonight with the rest of her family. He pulled off her clothes. He hanged her from a sewer pipe. And he masturbated as she died. It's just terrible. It's just terrible. So he keyed in on another former coworker at the Coleman Company. It was Catherine Bright. Her and her sibling, Catherine and Kevin, were out, and Rader told investigators that he named this murder Project Lights Out. And the reason that he did was because it was just rifting off their last name. When the Brights came home, Rader had Catherine bound, and then bound Kevin in a separate room. Kevin eventually got free and tried to attack Dennis, but came in there and Dennis shot him. So Kevin laid down, acted dead, so he would just leave him alone. Catherine ended up getting out of her bound and trying to fight back as well. He ended up stabbing Catherine multiple times. Kevin did make it out alive, but Catherine did not. In October of 1974, Rader displayed a hunger for publicity when he sent a letter to the Wichita Eagle with instructions of finding more information on the textbook in the public library. Inside that book, he had hidden another letter confessing to the murders and threatening to kill again. So he was toying with them, which is just crazy. So he felt like he was like untouchable. It said, "The code words for me will bind them, torture them, and kill them. BTK." Which gave rise to his nickname, the BTK Killer. So, this time he forced his way into the home of Shirley and her 3 children. After barricading the children in the bathroom, he strangled Van to death. Rader's next victim was 25-year-old Nancy Fox. He broke into her house and strangled her with a belt. Rader then used a payphone to call the police to report it as a homicide. I just want to know how no one saw him going in and out of these houses. That's what I want to know. I feel like someone would have seen it, or maybe someone would have heard something, because I mean there had to have been a struggle. I mean, especially with Catherine and Kevin. How did no one hear anything either with all of the struggle that was happening? I don't know. Kevin Bright told the investigators that his attacker was an average-sized guy with a bushy mustache and psychotic eyes. That's gonna be pretty hard to find someone with that description. So in 1978, Rader, again, starved for attention. So basically he sent a letter to the Wichita television station KAKE confessing murders. In the letter, he pleaded, "How many people do I have to kill before I get a name in the paper or some national attention?" Was this all that came to him? Did he just want publicity? There's so many questions of like the lack of care for someone that he's killed. He didn't care. And I can't fathom that. So next year, the investigators released the 1977 recording of Rader's phone call to the police, but effort failed to turn up any credible leads. By 1980, The investigation into the serial killings had largely stalled. He realized that they weren't looking into him anymore, or maybe he just got bold, and he killed another person in 1985, which is the murder of his neighbor. His neighbor, Maureen Hedge, Project Cookie was the name of it, according to him. And Rader broke into her house, strangled her to death, and brought her body to a church where he served as a president to take photos of her in bondage. Crazy. Crazy. No. In the following year, Rader initiated Project Piano, where he stalked a 28-year-old Vicky, a local piano. She allowed Rader into her house because he imitated a Southern Belle telephone lineman. She was then strangled with pantyhose with her 2-year-old in the other room. It's horrific. In January 1991, Rader also strangled a 62-year-old woman by her pantyhose and dropped her under a bridge. So that was his 10th victim. Despite the series of the 10 murders, police were unable to make any progress identifying a suspect. Over the next several months, a series of taunting letters, postcards, and packages were sent to various recipients around Wichita. One letter included a cryptid word puzzle that included clues such as serviceman, follow, prowl, and telephone code. A major break in the case occurred when a letter to the police, Rader asked if it was okay to send files of a floppy disk. Police were told to run an ad stating, "Rex, it will be okay," to try to get him to send that floppy disk into the police department. So in February 2005, a local television station, KSAS, received a letter with an enclosed floppy disk. The floppy disk contained messages and some metadata indicating that a deleted document from Christ Lutheran Church was last modified by Dennis. They had their guy. To confirm Rader was a suspect, police obtained a warrant to use DNA testing and a pap smear from Rader's daughter. That DNA test confirmed a relationship with a sample under one of the victim's fingernails. The police finally had enough evidence to arrest Rader. Within the legal proceedings, Rader was arrested in 2005 in February and was charged with 10 counts of first-degree murder. On the first day of his trial, June 2005, Rader pleaded guilty to 10 murders. So he didn't try to deny it at all. When he admitted to it, he callously labeled as projects. Because of his murders were committed at a time when Kansas banned capital punishment. Rader was sentenced to 10 consecutive life sentences. He's currently serving his prison term in a solitary confinement in El Dorado Correctional Facility in Kansas. In the aftermath, under questioning, Rader repeatedly declined any involvement in other crimes, but a significant body evidence links him to a disappearance of 16-year-old Cindy from a laundromat in Oklahoma in 1976. He declined any involvement with the disappearance of Cindy, and his only reply was, "I've always wanted to take some girl from a laundromat." Lost for words. It's weird how, it's more than weird how serial killers just have no sympathy for anyone. It baffles me. I don't understand it. And that's what makes these things so interesting, honestly. But among the clues that Rader's letters and journals and word puzzles are the words Cindy, Kenny, and laundromat. And he's saying he didn't do it. But police, think that the reason being is because Oklahoma allows capital punishment. So he is not willing to admit to it. And that is the story of Dennis Lynn Rader. Public impact. Rader's daughter, Carrie Rawson, wrote a book titled A Serial Killer's Daughter. My story of faith, love, and overcoming. Suggest that you should go read that. I think that I will. Just because I've read so much on this story, I might want to get her part as well and how she's overcome things. My heart goes out to the victims, and it's a horrible thing that he's done to those 10 people and their families, and including his own, putting them through something so horrific. I'm glad that he was caught, and I'm glad that he's in prison. Just one of those things, wrong person, wrong time. Just started getting too confident because he wasn't getting caught. Really bad situation. But all I have to say is stay safe, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.